So it's not just the fact that silence is her most powerful weapon, but also that her self-esteem is the product of her most powerful weapon, which is her silence. Her self-esteem is what allows her to be happy single. Her self-esteem was what allows her to actually go up to him and confess to him that she likes him. Her self-esteem is what allows her to keep her relationship private. So it's not just the fact that silence makes her relationship better, but the self-esteem that produces the silence that makes the relationship better.
Like a boss.
You know, doing research on Margot Robbie was actually kind of surprising and pleasing for the simple fact that she applies a lot of the strategies that I teach when it comes to attract the guy and have a high quality relationship. And the main secret behind her strategy is 1, her privacy, 2, her silence, right? And most importantly, that she has a sense of independence. I don't know, there's something about guys that they always want to make the woman who doesn't want a relationship commit. It seems like that's a very common thing. But we're not going to be talking about her independence. We could talk about that another day and why that tends to attract guys, right? Because guys like a challenge. Today we're going to be talking about your most powerful weapons, which is silence. Let's begin. This video is sponsored by The Natural Woman. And well, not the natural woman, the feminine woman. That's actually a title that I actually also thought about giving it. But this course will pretty much teach you the strategies I'm going to be teaching you guys today. It's not a course just about relationships, but it's also a course for women. Like if my nieces ask me, Uncle, can you make a course for me and us, for me and her, my other niece? This is the course that I will make for them. It's a course on how to handle your masculine and feminine energy. It's a course on how to behave in different settings and learning how to dial down the femininity and learning when to increase your masculine energy and how to utilize your masculine and feminine and fuse it together to create a beautiful concoction, which is you. All right, so you could pre-order that course by clicking in the description down below where it says pre-order the feminine woman, and I'll see you guys in. When they met, they became friends, but they didn't express their love for each other. They didn't express their affinity for each other, but they became roommates. And this is where the silence is actually powerful, because I know for sure, as a man, I know for sure that he saw her and he was attracted to her. He just didn't say nothing. And she also said she was attracted to him, but she didn't say nothing. And what that does, that silence creates a bubble, creates tension. It's almost like when you have two opposing colors, right? When you have a green and a red, the green and the red are so opposing that it creates a tension. And that tension creates the illusion that the color red is more red and the color green is more green. Just like if you put white and black, by contrast, they both are going to make each other look whiter and make the other look blacker, right? So tension increases whatever it's already there. Tension causes things to bubble up on the surface but not fully come out. And when you don't say how much you guys like each other, but you can see it in the eye, but you don't know whether or not it's actually true, it creates an imagination. It makes you fantasize about them. It makes you wonder what's inside of your mind. And through that process, they end up falling in love with you without you even expressing your love for them. That's how that works, right? When two people hang out and two people like each other and they don't say it, their attraction for each other simply because of the silence will increase whatever the emotions they have for each other. It shows how that works, right? So that's the first thing about silence. When you are friends with someone that you like, it's actually a really good thing, because you get to know them for who they are. You get to actually get to know them without seeing them as romantic partners. And it's actually more exciting. The meetups are more exciting. You gotta act like you guys are friends, but deep down you want more. And that tension makes the time even more fun, and it makes the relationship when it happens more satisfactory. It just does. I mean, and any man will tell you that their most satisfying relationships. I mean, I don't know the studies, but I know for sure that people who meet through friends usually have better relationships. So I actually have a little snippet of writing that describes this process.
The process of allowing a relationship to naturally evolve and waiting to discover whether someone reciprocates your feelings can lead to stronger and longer-lasting connections compared to the instant validation of mutual interest in online dating. From a neurological perspective, the waiting process, accompanied by feelings of anxiety and uncertainty, can actually trigger the release of neurotransmitters associated with attraction and bonding. When individuals experience the anticipation of reciprocated feelings, the brain activates pathways associated with reward and desire, leading to an intensified emotional response. This prolonged emotional investment results in a deeper bond, as the brain associates the gradual development of affection with a heightened sense of attachment.
So the gradual developing of affection, while not communicating it with words but with actions, increases the love and connection you guys will eventually have in the future. Keep it to yourself. Learn to make friends and go from friends to relationship. It just leads to better ones, man.
Consequently, the stages of uncertainty and longing not only contribute to the emotional depth of the relationship, but also cultivate a neurological environment conducive to long-term bonding. Furthermore, the waiting period allows individuals to engage in self-reflection and introspection.
So when you're up at night, you're thinking about whether or not they like you. You know how Hell kept attacking from Hey Arnold, right? Your brain will begin to crystallize them in your mind,
fostering a deeper understanding of their own emotions and desires. This self-awareness, coupled with the prolonged anticipation of reciprocation, can lead to a more genuine and profound emotional connection when mutual feelings are eventually revealed.
Yes.
In contrast, online dating platforms, where mutual interest is immediately apparent, may bypass this crucial period of self-discovery and emotional build-up, potentially resulting in shallower connections. By allowing the relationship to progress slowly, individuals have the opportunity to develop a more comprehensive understanding of themselves and their partner, laying a robust foundation for lasting intimacy and companionship.
And this is the thing, and let me show you guys a study. This I don't think is entirely the reason why, but studies show that people who meet through friends have longer relationships, right? Studies show that evidence says that meeting the breakup rates for both marital and non-marital romantic relationship was found to be higher for couples who met online than couples who met through offline venues. And there's a few reasons why that is, right? Let me tell you why. The first one, even here, right? Online dating, an overview. This one also talks about how divorce is higher amongst people who meet online. And my main reason is that, one, meeting them online, you don't know who they really are. So you don't have any context, right? You don't know if they're really a psychopath. Two, when you meet them through your friends, you don't go on the first, quote unquote, first date with them. Because when you meet someone online, the first time you meet is the first date. There's already pressure. When you meet them through your friends and family, you first don't know if they like you. So you're going to meet them a couple times before you actually get to know that they like you. So there's a lot of non-dates that you guys have together that builds a real connection. You get to know them for who they really are, right? You get to know them through your friends. They will talk about them, but also you get to know them individually. And after a few weeks or months of getting to know each other, then you go on a date. That dynamic leads to different types of relationships. So the fact that they met through friends, it's so, through a work situation, and they had to keep what they felt about each other silence because they got to keep it professional, has such a powerful effect on the quality of relationships you guys have with each other. So that's the first one. The second one is that once they actually live together, right? They lived together. They were roommates without actually dating. And again, I know goddamn well she teased them many times. She dressed in a way that looked provocative. She dressed in a way that got him to think. And I can promise you that dude was thinking of that ass at night sometimes. I know for sure. Okay, I can promise you that. So that silence causes people to hold it inside. And because you're holding that emotion inside, it's like a repressed dark emotion that comes out unconsciously. It'll just burn you inside, people. And as a guy, patience is not our virtue. We just go crazy because of that. Now, this is the funny thing, is that she was the one that went to him. She was the one that opened up and said that she likes him. And that to me is another part that I could make another video about. And that's actually a quality that of their relationship that is really beautiful, is a vulnerable side. Margaret is a very confident person. And the way I see it is that you could see you going up to the guy as confident or as desperate, depending on how it's done, right? So I like to think that she did that as a way to just see what happens, right? From a place of confidence. So that's one thing. We could talk about that another time, but that's something that's kind of unique that I did find surprising. Now, the next thing that she did is that they kept their relationship secret, and most likely she was the one that kept the secret, because they didn't even have a walk on the red carpet together up until 1 year of being married. Nobody knew about their marriage. Even when they got married, she sent all of her guests in different parts of Australia and then picked them up and drove them to a secret location in the bus. She kept her relationship really, really private. And this has a few-fold effect. Well, first of all, for me, what this says something about her, okay? What this says is that studies show that people who post a lot on social media, post selfies on social media, have lower self-esteem. But also relationships that not only meet online, but also, which one is it? Relationship that, I forgot where it was. Let me see if I can find it. So this is an article summarizing a study, and it says like this, right? Let me move this a little bit more to the left. Okay. Say people who are insecure about their partners feel about them, post more often about their relationship. People with anxious attachment styles tend to post about their relationship more often, perhaps to get reassurance. Research from Albright College, which is near where I lived in Pennsylvania, show that people whose self-esteem is contingent upon their relationship tend to post more often and even brag about it on social media. Also found that people with high neuroticism tend to post more often to show off their relationship. Posting happy times with your partner, excluding the bad times, can make you feel better about yourself than about your relationship. So what that says is that people who are constantly putting their relationship in your face usually have lower satisfaction, but people who rarely post about their relationships usually have higher satisfaction rates. So it's not about just the silence. It's just about the emotional state and the level of self-esteem that leads to silence. The level of confidence that leads to you not needing other people's validation. So it's not just the fact that silence is her most powerful weapon, but also that her self-esteem is the product of her most powerful weapon, which is her silence. Her self-esteem is what allows her to be happy single. Her self-esteem was what allows her to actually go up to him and confess to him that she likes him. Her self-esteem is what allows her to keep her relationship private. So it's not just the fact that silence makes her relationship better, but the self-esteem that produces the silence that makes the relationship better. Now, the next thing is that they don't post their stories. They don't post about when they got married. There wasn't a big thing about them getting married. It was very, very, very subtle, right? And like I said, this is a sign of high self-esteem. And this to me is why silence is a powerful weapon that she does. She doesn't let other people's eyes, validation, make her feel good about her relationship. Her happiness comes from the connection that she has with her man, not with people's reaction to her connection. But also, silence also is powerful, right? In other ways that you could use silence is that if somebody's disrespectful, sometimes not saying nothing and leaving them alone is a power. Sometimes not saying anything and leaving them unread because they're being disrespectful is power. Sometimes not responding with anger, sometimes not responding with words is the best solution rather than saying nothing. To me, silence is the ultimate weapon. Silence is what moves people to take action, right? And if you learn to use it, because you don't have to also use silence like she does it, right? Because she uses silence as a way to keep her relationship private. to give her relationship space to grow, to allow herself to connect with her man. But also, silence can be used as a weapon to attract people into your life, right? Where you don't where you show people that you like them, but you don't tell them with your words. That's actually a really powerful thing to do. Where I'm that type of person. As I like my nature, my nature. I don't tell you that I like you. I just show you that I like you. That's me. That's my nature. I don't express how much I love someone. I just do things. And what I notice is that one, it allows me to be me, right? Because I'm not too much of words. But also, my partners always complain to me, hey, man, can you tell me something nice? Like, tell me you like me, right? And I do tell them that, right? But for me, it's more meaningful to show you, right? But I tend to notice that it does have a positive effect on my relationships. Me being a man of actions and not words causes people that whenever I tell someone how much I like them, they appreciate it more. Don't get in the habit of talking too much. Get in the habit of showing people your love. There might be times because of your lack of saying it, it might make them feel insecure. But it's not the type of insecurity that hurts. It's a type of insecurity that will actually flatter you, because deep down they know you love them. They just want to hear it. It's okay to be needed. It's okay to create a need in someone to hear you say you love them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. What's bad is when it's worse to suffocate someone with your words than to not say it as much and have to have them ask you to say it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the toxic part of me, to be honest with you. In fact, Robert Greene talks about this law.
Always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you're saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less.
I mean, look at the royal family. Their moniker is to keep the family secret. Even the Godfather told his son, who got killed because of his big mouth, never tell people what you're thinking outside of the family, especially with relationships. And the big people who do this the most, for example, in Hollywood, it's the Will Smith's family, the Kardashian family. Every family that has a public light, in my opinion, almost all of them are toxic. Okay, all right.
The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Observance of the law.
So there's a law of power, and they're called always say less than necessary. Very kind of common sense law. And the idea is that if you're in a meeting with people, that man or woman who talks less generally has an aura of power, particularly a boss. They seem enigmatic, mysterious. And when they do something, say something, everybody's hanging on their words. What did that mean? What did it say? Whereas people who talk a lot give the impression that they're weak. They signal weakness. They can't control themselves. If they can't control themselves, how can they control anything in the business world, right? So we sense that in people. So be aware of that.
An example is Cardi B and ASAP. They talk too much. I should make a video about them. Stop talking too much.
You're probably talking too much in a lot of circumstances, and maybe you can control that. And so this is kind of a way of defending yourself in an environment where people will tend to see you as weak if you can't have any self-control.
But this is it, man. Like, some of you guys need to be quiet. Some of you guys talk too much about your relationships, and keep your relationships private. Don't let social media know everything that you do. It'll actually sabotage your relationships more. And if you have to continually be posting online, now posting is not going to fix you. You want to ask, why do I post so much? And what am I supposed to feel? And what are we supposed to feel, so that we don't need to talk too much about your relationship. We don't need to get validation from others. If you can find validation between the two of you, sometimes that does fix it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to developing true self-esteem that comes from within, where you have your own ecosystem of positive emotions. And that comes to learning how to be alone, learning how to be silent, learning how to be single, and being happy being single. And that comes to developing a meditation practice, people. If you learn to develop a meditation practice, you will master the art of silence, because meditation is all about non-action and complete and utter mental and the physical silence. And once you master that, you could also master this. So how do you do that? Well, you could go check out the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. You could purchase my course Emotional Mastery, which is a 5-week course on how to develop a meditation practice, how to master your emotions. Or you could go to a 10-day Vipassana silent retreat. It's literally the ultimate silence, all right? You can click in the description down below to purchase my courses, to work with me one-on-one on how to make this happen. And I'll see you guys inside. Take care.